Students, we want to continue with Donald Hop, Unit 4. Right here, I told it so many things else here. So, Unit 4, the first chapter, The Jungle Actress, Julian Kebab. And Julian Kebab autobiography is this. I mean, her own story. Now the flight is fall down. That's it. What's the flight name? Lens Airlines Flight 508. Where did it travel from? Lima to what's the other name is one of the name is say this it's from Lima it is started after it is fallen down inside the jungle, right? All right, so that is one of the things one tragedy happened. I mean it's travel from Lima to Pucallpa. Is it Pucallpa? Is it Pucallpa is one of the most beautiful in the world. It's a jungle area and it is now flight is full down. Now she is now on earth with a seat belt and seats. She couldn't find out anyone. That means her mother is not there. Any others also not there. She is alone in the jungle, and she is faced so many threats and dangers inside the jungle. So there are so much people not there in the jungle. It's a wild, and this it means structured jungle, green structural jungle. She can show some of these sounds. She can got some of this sound from there, and also just scattered bags, flowers, packages, and heads. Everything is there. Okay, the sandwich trays also stretch this, and also raining. Now it's raining. It is too difficult. All right then. Where we stop here? I can remember turning over and over in the air. I remember in thinking that jungle trees below looked like a cauliflowers. Then I lost consciousness. She lost consciousness. And now she is unconscious. After what happened, I was still light when the rain woke up. Yes, it's a daytime. She woke up. I was laying under a section of the seats turned up upside down. There was no sign of my mother, of any other passengers, or of this plane. Yes, no trace for passengers, no trace for mother, no trace for any other. All could hear were frogs croaking. Yes, frog sounds, he says, and the rain is too heavy. I had a bump on my head and a gash in my foot. That is something happened in his foot, and it tries to take his foot and head from here from the jungle. Okay, then. But I couldn't muster the energy to move and look around. There is no energy. I think she is too suffering the lack of food and thirsty. Thus, I spent the whole night lying under the seats, half asleep, in shock. That means she didn't sleep properly, half sleep. That means it's a jungle. There's no proper situation. Just imagine that. Okay, the next morning I crawled out slowly because every swam dazzles before me. The next morning, the night over, the daytime comes out. I crawled. Crawl means just like in the floor, crawling. Yes, that means not properly to walk. He is now entering. Make it straight out of slowly because everything swam dizzily before me. Dizzily means that means she has her head is means sometime lost conscious. That is Taragaraka means before me. I saw a small package and opened it. Yeah, there was a package. I opened it. It continued some sweets and a Christmas cake. Yes, in that package that is falling from tray. I mean flight. And he's opened the packet. He could see what cake and some sweets. Maybe he was too thirsty and hungry, so she maybe consumed that one. See that? I tasted the cake and dropped it. It was a soaking wet and rewarding. That means cake, it is not to keep in fridge, it is keep in the jungle, is it? So it became wet and revolting. That means bad taste. Okay, that's why he's dropped it. That is cake and sweets is not in good. Then I picked up a long stick with which is to prop in ground to avoid snakes. So structured jungle, wild jungles, too much. That means animals and snakes and so many things are there. Poisonous things are there. That's why I took a stick for walking and at the same time to face the poisonous snake, spiders, and ants. That means you want to face poisonous snakes, poisonous spiders, and ants. You know ants? Yeah. Spider, yeah. Both are poisonous in the jungle, right? My parents had taught me about these perils of the jungle. Perils mean dangers of the jungles in the years we had lived in it. Yes. That it is not the big animals that are most dangerous, but the snake and insects. According to her mother, the wild animal is no more dangerous, but more dangerous are these insects. That means pest. I mean, what are the snake, spider, and ants? These are poisonous. That's why it became more danger than wild animals. Who taught? Her parents taught. Okay, this paragraph says about she faces so many threats from the jungle, especially the poisonous snake, ants, and spider. And he remembering his parents' words, that means more danger is these insects, just like that of spider, ants, and snake, more than wild animals. Okay, he's tried to stand with a long stick. Okay, then what he will do? Well, feeling ahead with his stick, I started looking to my mother. I was so dizzy. Dizzy means his consciousness will lost. He tried to find out his consciousness. Salagarakam writes that after each step I had to rest. So first 2 3 steps gone and stand there because it's dizzy. After hours of poking around, I heard a gentle splashing nearby. Splashing means the sound of a river, and discovered a tiny brook. Brook means river. Splashing means the sounds of river. You can see that is a little tiny brook means little river, not a big one. Little river. Brook means river. So she saw a river, small river. My parents had impressed me what that when lost in the jungle, one should always look for streams. Yes, if suppose if you have to lose the way in the jungle, you should have to first find out the way of the river. So you must do that one. Then only you can reach it proper place. So for that is also the lesson she got from the parents. That means find out the river way. All right. And then what happened? Okay, here and that means large streams. Because this in the jungle, one should always look at the streams and then follow them to larger streams. Yes, this small river is now joining into larger streams. From there, we can understood that the people are live or not there. Maybe might be we can meet people in the long, I mean, wide river or a long river. Okay, right. The rivers are that above the roads are here. Maybe in the side of the big river there is roads, and the Indian tribes and the white plantation people are live on these banks. And the banks means the side of the river. The side of the river, too much tribes. Tribes means section. Different tribes of people are there. Maybe lower or higher tribes are there. This section of the people are living the Red Indians or other Mongolians or so many peoples are here and there in the world, is it? Sometimes they live in the jungles banks, that means river banks. Maybe if you walk in the straight to this river, you can see these kinds of people. That's why she tried to do these things. Rivers in this tropical forest of Peru, meander and circle. Okay, that's happening in Peru. The city country name is Peru. One can walk in kilometers along the bank and only advance 100 meters towards one's destination. That means very too long destinations is the ways to find out the people are very difficult, and the rivers also stretching from very long kilometers and distance. So she tried to do that one too. As for the river, she is walking same like the river in this way. She is the picture is shown here. Is but I had to stay near or in the stream. Its banks was overgrown with its tangled weeds, making every steps is arduous. Sometimes I had to wade through this water because of huge rooted tree trunks barred my way. It was slow going. That is very difficult to now she faced the difficulty. That means some of these roots of this tree is very thick roots. You know, roots very yes, it's very, and at the same time too much. What a trees roots are here and there, so it's very difficult to move from this. I mean, near the trees. Okay, then this nights in the jungles are attractive only in films. In real life, they are frightening. Yes, when you see the scenery in the night in the cities, the light is flame, it's very attractive. But in jungle, it is different. It is frightening. It's fearful. Nighttime in jungle is fearful, according to her. Okay, right. There was always rustling somewhere. Snakes, rustling somewhere. Snakes. Something was crawling over my legs. A tarantula. Even the air seemed to be poisoned by decaying trees. I slept fitfully. So there is a sound, so rustling sound of the snake, and is crawling the spider, and it's also tarantula is some type of spider is there. And so many sounds and things, insects are described here. It disturbed her at night. But on the third day, I heard when vultures is also the creatures in the jungle. Where there are vultures, where are usually bodies. I came upon the piece uh, of aeroplane fuselage and saw twisted cables. Yes. In the third day, he saw some of these means destroyed aeroplane parts. That mean cables or other things. The plane stand of burned fuel. Yes, that's burned fuel. I mean fuel, in them. But I could find no survivors. Plane parts is destroyed here and there, but could not find any people there. Okay, right. The place is stank into burnt fuel. Okay, but I could not find no survivors. Then no people alive in there. During the afternoon, I heard the noise of aircraft engines. Yes, suddenly I got some aircraft engine is sound I got from the jungle. I know it was senseless, but I yelled. Yelled means cried loudly. Help! Help! Over and over again. Okay, he felt that some people are maybe helping. That's why he shouted loudly, cried loudly, help! Help! They must have been quite near, though I never saw them, and of course they don't spot me. But it's not useful. They couldn't find out, or she couldn't find them. Then the noise of these planes faded, and I was again alone. Yes, that's faded. Aeroplane sound is now gone. She is now became alone in the jungle. But I was not disheartened. I could walk. Yes, I not get too much injury. I could walk. Okay. I was not hungry, and I could drink from the clear stream. So she is now want to drink. This stream is very clear. Okay. On my fourth day, I finished the sweets, the only nourishments I had. Yes, she now eaten only the sweets only. That cake already a bad condition. That's why it avoided, dropped it. So sweets have to eaten again and again. That is lucky. Nourished means he has to make it some energy. I was swallowed from the stings of mosquitoes and horseflies. It's another disturbance. It comes in the way of insect. That means these mosquitoes, horseflies, and that is also come and stings her body here and there. Armies of ants. That means too much ants also comes and disturb, blocked my path and struggling though this tangled undergrowth and avoid them. So insect is too much disturbed, particularly these ants. Okay, then it is horseflies and mosquitoes, spiders, every insect has now disturbed her body. Okay. I covered only miserable few hundreds meters an hour. However, my streams did run into large river. So he is straight into the side of the river. With the way of river, she also walked with the river. As I pressed this downstream along its bank, I saw parrots. Yes, another section that means parrots, parrots or parrots. Parrots meaning monkeys and hummingbirds and many varieties of tiny orchid growing in the tree trunks. That means too much things she can sow in the jungle. Okay, the birds, parrots, monkeys, hummingbirds, and at the same time, the trunks, the strong, I mean, very, it's also find out in the. Amazingly, I was not hungry. I resisted delicious looking fruit because here's many things that look is beautiful and tempting are poisonous. Other things she attracted in the jungle is that too much of fruits are here and there, but these fruits are very dangerous. Maybe it is connected to poison inside it. So that is also is one of the things she saw while he traveling in a jungle in order to reach the proper place. Okay. Then what is another thing? The jungle is full of traps. Yes, definitely. And it is a battlefield in which root and growth march hand in hand. All the plants is complete, steal sunlight from each other, choke each other, and then hungry consume these cadavers of this victim in order to live. That means it's a different things also she saw in the jungles while she was walking. Is looking here and there. She can find out some of the things is here and there. She is looking very suspiciously while she was walking. The open wound on my foot. Now she is injured, and now his foot is now one wound comes out. Was getting worse due to infection by insect. The insects come and they sting the wounds, and the wounds became very big one. Now it is infection. Every time this flies stung, yes, flies, insects, flies means insects stung, the sting passed into stung. There was lying eggs in my wounds. Yes, there's a small eggs comes in the wounds. Oh my God. Out of which was hatching maggots. Helplessly, I watched them emerge. Each one has about a centimeters long. Oh, they were eating me alive. God help me. I thought they will amputate and he was survived. That means his wound is to be big. Now it is became uh, പഴുത്തിരിക്കുന്ന wounds. Okay, so this insect comes and use his wounds as eatable. Oh my God! So she is now pray to God, please help me. Okay, the river that I painstakingly followed was widening. Whenever I could get a good view ahead, I risked swimming. So, after this small river connect, when she saw it became big, and she tried to swim there. Okay, now the swimming picture is there. Is it? It was faster because the current means what is work? Yes, carried me along. Without swimming, the current also carried her on land. I picked my way, careful to watch where I put my feet because this rotting foliage could conceal a snake or poisonous thorn back crab. Crab comes out, crab, yes. If you treated on a crab, I told myself you are done for. Okay. So she is swimming now after walking, and it became progressively harder. The lack of food and humid 45 degrees heat me made me weaker. Now she became very tired because of the heat, 45 degrees Celsius of heat, and after is also didn't get the proper food, so that's why she became very tired. The river was now so swift means speed, that I could no longer swim in it. Late one afternoon, I was looking for a spot to be lie down for the night. So the night comes out, he is lie down, means slept at the banks of the river. It was in the 10th day. Now she spent in the jungle 10th day. As later reconstructed it, suddenly I saw a boat moved on this river bank. Now saw the boat. It's the sound of the boat he saw in the banks of the river. And there was a path leading to a small hut. And the boat is there, and is nobody there near the boat. But this boat, after she saw what happened. She saw a hut, a small house also. Right. Okay. Then what is the next one? I entered to saw on the floor a small outboard motor carefully wrapped in the plastic, and inside the hut, in front of the hut, there is a motor. Is Key kept it with a cover with the plastic, and can of petrol can is there. Petrol can is there. So clearly, someone would be coming back. But when she understood that, so in the hut, some people may be there or maybe around there. So he's waiting for the people, because now she is about a petrol can and engine, everything she can now find out in the hut. I lay down on the floor and slept badly because I kept listening to the human voice. But here I heard only the screaming of monkeys and the stretching of parakeets. Parakeets is also kind of birds. But he couldn't heard about the man voice. He could have heard only the animals and the sounds of the monkeys and the parakeets. At others time, something seemed to be moving outside the dangerously near. Okay. Now she tried to escape with the people who are staying in the jungle, and he waited for the sound of the man, but it couldn't get it. He get only the sound of the animals. Okay. The next morning, I wanted to push on. It might be days, even weeks, before these people came for this boat, but I didn't want to take a boat which is belonged to someone else. So he waited for the sounds and the people, but no sounds no man can find out. So she is thinking to take the engine of boat and uh, speedily move, but her mind is not in get permitted. But I didn't want to take the boat which is belonged to someone else. However, the rain was pouring down again. Yes, now the condition is very worse. Now heavy rain also comes out. So I stayed in the hut. Then he heard. Now she stayed in the hut. That means she couldn't face the rain. She saw the rain, but now she's inside very safely in the hut. Okay. However, the rain was pouring down again, so I stayed in the hut. Hut means house. Then I heard voice, and three men plunged into from a downpour. Well, one of them is exclaimed in Spanish, "What have we here?" So there is a sounds at last she saw. I mean, so three men and talking in Spanish word. Okay. The man were Monsieur, that means half white. That means Monsieur means half white, half black. These people are called half Indian hunters. They are hunters. The people who are in staying now coming people are hunters. They are mixed color. They are talking about Spanish language. They told me they kept several huts in the jungle for their expedition. Oh. Then they discussed with our Juliana Kappa. Then they said that what is that? We are came here for expedition. That means to find out a new place, new things. They knew about the crash. Yes. Then they understood without the saying the word of Juliana Cap. They understood the plane is crashed in the jungle. They from the news they understood the. I mean they understood by these people. They understood the stretch of the plane and flew over the jungle after the accident. We could see nothing. He said, no people, no wreckage. Wreckage means accidents. Okay. They washed me with the salt water, and yeah, they now treat this girl very nicely. That means the wound is very big. Now this wound is what clean with the salt water. Salt water is very good for these wounds. And put a salve on my wound. Salve means medicine also put on the wounds. They made fruit mash for me. Yes, fruit juice also give, but I was unable to eat. Okay. Now these people are now with a good friendship with this our Juliana Capo girl. Okay, now they give medicine and food. Okay, they understood the accident. Early next morning, they got their boat ready and it took me down the river. Yes, the next morning they are traveling from there. My river, it was in or the Sheboya. Sheboya is a place became wider, swifter, and more dangerous. Okay, the river is big one, very deep one, very large one. If you looked at this shore where I would have had to walk, and I saw that it became more and more impassable. It took us hours to get to the jungle settlement of Torno Vista. Where is a place? That's a place name. People came running and shouting to stare at me. At last they reached in the boat reached the Torno Vista, where the people has looked very strangely. Their group looked group and strangely. One of my rescuers explained why. Yes, one of my friends, that means rescuers means escaped people, explained why this girl is due to the accident. That is etc. My eyes were so bloodshot; they looked entirely red, and my face was disfigured and swollen out of shape from this insect's bites. So his body is some parts is bite by insects in the jungle. Okay, my arms and legs were pocked with worm lessons. I looked like a living nightmare. Yes. When she looked in the mirror, when she looked, she understood that her complete body is damaged. Okay, next one. And she is now reaching where? She reached in a place called Torno Vista. Now is reaching the safe place, Torno Vista. Okay, next. Even because of Torno Vista was an agriculture colony. Yes, it's agriculture land. Torno Vista is not city, agriculture village. It had small dispensary where I was washed and my wounds are treated. His wounds are now cleared by the medicine given by in a dispensary. That is a small hospital is there. They used a special medicine and clean out all wounds, and they gave me an injection of counteract inflammation. Okay, in order to cure the diseases and wounds. The small hospital gave the medicine and injection. Even in the half days after our crash, I began to board a plane, a small twin engine machine that took me in the US mission base of Summer Institute of Linguistics near Pucallpa, where an American doctor looked after me with the help of my direction search planes found in the wreckage. Daddy arrived to stay by my side. He told me what I had suspected. My mother was dead. From there, Daddy came and she understood that her mother already dead. Up to that time, she believed that her mother is somewhere living. But now, from the words of father, she understood that that means her mother already dead. But the search found those Electra scattered over 60 kilometers of jungle. The cause of the crash and how Juliana got safely down are unknown. One theory is that the plane exploded at 3,000 meters, that the fall some pieces was cushioned by enormous upward current of air in the storm. Yes, up to that view, she is living. Okay, she's Juliana Kapok now middle-aged woman. She before is a small girl, is it? So that is her own story. She told to us by a jungle aircraft. She is escaped surprisingly. That is says about this. Right? Okay. Then that's about this. All right. I think it's we can wind up this jungle aircraft is finished. Okay. It's too much vocabulary words are there. We should write it perfectly. Okay, fine. All right. So Juliana Kapok is a surprising escape. How did you feel it? Even she was very small. She is faced so many threats and difficulties in the jungle. Lastly, she escaped from the jungle. Okay, that is her life experience. Okay, thank you very much. Take care.